man, we're talking, these were the kids of all the stars, right? So Barry White's kids and all these directors. And I mean, we're talking, they were dropped off in Rolls Royces. And Christine, little dorky Christine, rocks up. And it was very stressful because, like, I didn't want my friends to come home, to come visit me at my house. I was like embarrassed where I lived. And so that that stress of wanting to be like others and feeling like we don't measure up, I understand that.
Welcome to Out of the Box with Christine. And now, here's the host of the show, Christine Blaisdell.
Today's show is brought to you by How Do I Create a Podcast.com. Want to create your very own podcast to promote you and your business? Learn how you can become a rockstar podcaster in 30 days or less. Just visit howdoicreateapodcast.com. That's howdoicreateapodcast.com. Welcome back to Out of the Box with Christine. I am your hostess with the mostest, Christine Blaisdell, your expert authority coach, helping you expand your brand and your business in a conscious way, changing the planet for the better with your gifts and your wisdom. And today I'm very excited to bring back a friend of many, many years, and I haven't spoken to her, oh my goodness, since I was at a radio station. We were in a studio together, and it's been so long. So I'm very happy to have back. Joining me is Dr. Blythe Mandmets, who is, oh my goodness, she's so many things. She's a metaphysician, she's an author, a speaker, a holistic healing coach. So amazing, the stuff that she's done with natural wellness and healing. She specializes in helping her audience and clients realize their self-healing design. She's absolutely passionate about helping youth and adults alike to understand their innate power to create the health and life experience they desire. And in alignment with this very important mission, she has just also recently authored the book, Dear Teenager, You Are Amazing, 5 Keys to Creating a Life You Love. And she's also the author of I Am Amazing, the workbook, which is for teens to dive into their genius. So I want to say welcome to Out of the Box.
Thank you so much, Christine. It's amazing to be here. I love your show. So thank you so much.
I am so happy to have you back. And like I said, it's been quite some time, and so much has happened.
Too long. I know.
Right?
You live in a different country. You've got a family. It's so different. But this is the beauty of life, how it blossoms, isn't it? It's the beauty, and then the connections that we keep. It's really beautiful.
Well, and I kind of teased that in the beginning that, this is something that you're quite passionate about, and because I know you from all the health and wellness work that you've done, right? You've got an incredible video series that just blew my mind for so many years. And also helping people become healthier in the way in the foods that they consume, but also the thoughts as well. That's what I really love about the work you do. But now you've got a brand new project and a passion that is really fueling you right now, right?
Yeah, yes. Every time I see a headline about the teenage mental health crisis, my stomach just sinks. And reading about the increase in depression and anxiety in our youth, it's so sad. And we just need to teach them how to be creators. That's what we need to teach. I was at my daughter's music recital for her school several weeks ago, and many of my daughter's in 2nd grade, and many of the students that took the stage and spoke about why they liked playing instruments, they all said, because it helps me with my anxiety, even labeling it as like an elementary student, my anxiety, and helps me with stress. And I was like, what are they stressed about in 2nd grade and 3rd grade? And, and seeing culturally how kids have devices in their bed until 11 o'clock, until they finally just fall asleep, and they're not sleeping enough. And and they don't know how to own themselves. And so then comments can destroy them. And, it's like we really got to just take it back and teach our kids unconditional self-love and what that really means. And that is so important. And, my clients as adults ask me, they're like, I don't think I know what that is, unconditional self-love. So I think that it's really important that we really start teaching our kids this. It's the start of everything for them.
Well, and also, and I don't want to sound like my grandmother, but but back in my day, no,
when we were, say it all the time too, right?
And I won't say we because I'm probably I'm quite a bit older than you, but there was, when I was growing up, also we were told and encouraged, you can do anything, you can be anything, but we did not have this comparison technology that came at us and made us feel less than. When we went to school, of course there was a bully, at school. There's always somebody or somebody on the playground that says something, not so nice. But we also had full faculty of our imagination. And that's why I think when you're talking about creation,
it's so much more outdoor time and so much more time with actual friends. The value of actually being with friends instead of just being with friends over a game, on your device. That's the protection, right? It's like when you have all those other things, that's the protection. Yeah.
You're right. We actually had the ability to have real relationships with friends. And you get in little spats with your
factor.
You get in little spats with your friends, but you'd have to then negotiate and go, okay, let's figure this out.
How much do we learn from that? Right.
Exactly. And that's where we grew up. And then this generation of children are growing up under such different circumstances, not to mention, we just had a global pandemic thing that put a lot of stress and anxiety on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who was consciously awake went through quite a bit.
Right.
Right. And then you have and I was talking to someone the other day. I said, I think that we're all suffering sort of a PTSD effect from all of that, being told you can't go outside, being told you can't, fear.
So much fear. Anybody that engaged with it definitely would have PTSD. There was a lot of fear being thrown at everybody for a while.
So what are the effects of that on our children and our teenagers?
Right. And the effects of them then seeing their parents feeling unstable. For kids, their parents are meant to be the rock. They're meant to be the stability. And when parents lose that and kids see that, then their whole world sort of shatters.
Absolutely.
And really, it's like the message is for adults the same as teens, is like, you are a creator. You can create your life experience. And not only that, but what are your talents? What do you desire? What are your preferences? Not the preferences that other people put on you, but what really are yours? And so when kids start to realize, to look at their talents, that their talents actually matter, that their talents are actually a clue as to their destiny, right? As to how they create a life that they love by then listening to their talents. And I did not grow up in an environment that taught me to listen to my talents, that taught me that my talents mattered, at all. And it's like really important. That's the way we create a life we love, is by really knowing what our gifts are, our talents are, and what our preferences are, our desires, and then going after it, knowing that we can, and knowing how to listen to the intuition that guides us to the right action, and also knowing to expect failure. I think that's such a key part that we don't teach our youth, is like, you're going to fail. You're going to try something and it's going to fail. You're going to try again and it's going to fail. And that's okay. And that's good. How many times did it take? How many failures did it take before anything amazing was created? Before the light bulb was created? Thousands of failures. Before the solar panel was created, thousands and thousands of failures. And these scientists were like, fail again, figure it out. And so we have to teach our kids, like, yes, fail. Because I think what happens is we're so afraid to try something, and then when it fails, it's like, oh, it's all over. It's like, no, kids, fail, keep going, fail, keep going. It's really crucial. Teach them that failure is fun. Teach them that failure is feedback.
Well, that's the thing. But see, again, because we're in this perfectionist society of comparison and social media, where it's the Kardashian syndrome, right? You can't look bad. You can't fail. You can't be this. You can't be that. And so what happens, and it just kills the I don't want to say entrepreneurial spirit, but it kills the creative spirit of so many
Mhm.
people, and especially young children, because they're so afraid of failing that they won't even try. And it's like, no, I might mess up, so I'm just not even going to bother. Oh my goodness, that kills so many dreams, and so many amazingly talented people, can be birthed from just trying something. Try it and see if you like it. Try it and fail. And like you said, I mean, how many times have you and I reached out, tried something, even in our business, even as
Mhm.
adults,
For sure. Oh, for
let me
sure.
see
We
if
have. Yeah.
let me see if this program connects with people. Let me see if this,
Yeah.
message or this marketing, or, but even as when we're little, if you don't try it, and you do fail a couple times, then you learn to adjust. And also, I think,
Yeah.
Blythe, really important is that you develop resilience.
Yeah.
And resilience is
Absolutely.
something, my greatest example of resilience was my grandmother, who, whatever life threw at her, and we're talking wars, depression, you know,
Wow.
um, you know,
Big, big
all
stuff.
kinds of stuff. And it was like, water on a duck's back. She dealt with, she saw it, she dealt with it. She goes, okay, well, what's the answer? What's the solution? Where do we go from here? And
She
that
was
was
connected to her inner light, right? It's like she didn't let the
absolutely,
cultural trance of depression,
yeah,
sink her down.
yes.
Yeah.
And
It's amazing you
she
had a
had a,
grandmother like that.
she liked to nip the bottle every now and then.
Ah!
My, my, that side of the family has had an issue with that, but she never let it get out of control. But she had that resilience of, get up. You fell down. If you're riding your bike and you fall, you're going to get scraped up, but you got back up again, and you
Yeah.
tried it again. And then one day you're riding down the street with your no hands on the handlebars, and you're like doing
Yeah.
tricks, and you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how good I am at riding this bike. It's because
Right.
you failed a couple
Yeah.
times.
You allowed yourself to fail. You wouldn't be there if you didn't fail, right? You
Yes.
wouldn't have gotten to the point where you could ride if you didn't fail.
Yes.
You know what your grandmother's generation didn't have that we have is the ability to instantly have tons of free content for motivation and peace. It's like they went to alcohol. We have YouTube, we can pop on something that teaches us something that inspires us. We have all these different podcasts like yours that we can just plug into and like learn something amazing that gives us the jolt, that we have something else to do besides drink too. It's like the older generations, what was there to do? Now we have just so much that we can take in that really feeds us, and really like it's a support that's always there for us. If we need motivation, it's there for free somewhere, easy to find. If we need inspiration, it's there. If we need education about anything, it's there. And that is such a gift that we have in our culture. It's also helping teach kids to like utilize that, and also to really mind their influences. It's like they can be influenced by anyone. They can look at people that they really admire that are doing amazing things and be influenced by them. Like, how do they do this? Let me watch what they do. Let me watch their marketing and allow it to be a gift to them instead of a comparison thing. And then also in that, really paying attention to if something doesn't make you feel good, if there's a comment trigger or there's a trigger somewhere in social media, bounce out of it. You don't have to partake or engage in anything that doesn't make you feel good. If it's not inspiring you or empowering you, just bounce off. You don't need to listen to it. So in this case, it's like if the Kardashians are a trigger for someone that makes them feel unworthy in some way, why are we participating? Delete, unfollow, whatever. It's like teach people you have the power. If something's not making you feel good, delete it.
Well, we're talking like, because we're adults and we're talking reasonably and going, well, yes, this and that. But when you're also when you're a kid, I'm going back to little Christine too, and I'm remembering, now we didn't have the Kardashians and we didn't have social media, we didn't have as much of a comparison model that we have today. But I remember, you know, going to school, and we were poor. Let's put it this way. So I we I dressed like, when I dressed like a weirdo, because I was just a weirdo. But I remember at a certain point, even when I was really young in elementary school, feeling like the odd duck, right? And maybe everybody feels like the odd duck, but I really felt
I
like the odd duck.
definitely felt like that.
I just felt like everybody else looked so snazzy and everything. And then when I went to junior high school, I was very lucky to go to a college prep school because my dad was a teacher there. So I got like a
Nice.
scholarship type thing, right? Very
Very good.
great education. But man, we're talking, these were the kids of all the stars, right? So
Uh,
Barry White's kids and all these directors. And I mean, we're talking, they were dropped off in Rolls Royces. And Christine, little dorky Christine, rocks up. And it was very stressful because, like, I didn't want my friends to come home, to come visit me at my house. I was like embarrassed where I lived. And so that that stress of wanting to be like others and feeling like we don't measure up, I understand that. Right? I understand that.
I do
Now
too. Yeah.
and now today I just think it's like on steroids. That that
Yeah.
that pressure that we have. So
Yeah. And
I
so really
yeah.
teaching them then is like who you are today is valuable and worthy regardless of circumstance. Like really teaching everyone how to really own that regardless of circumstance. You are a God technology. You are an amazing divine being. You're capable of creating a life you love regardless of where you start and regardless of present circumstance.
No.
So
And
I
like you
got you.
said, tap into those people, those movements that inspire you. You know,
So key.
I
So key.
I always, whenever I get like, oh, wah, 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 um, I'll I'll look at someone, I'll look at someone. There was this one woman I met who was brilliant. She's like a physicist, like studies black hole things and everything. And
Love it.
she can't communicate the way, we do. She communicates through a keyboard, and
Oh wow.
she doesn't even have use of her, extremities. Her brain, she has a thirst for knowledge, and she's basically, she goes around and she talks to people. She's basically saying, you know what, if I can do this without being able to speak, without being able to move my
Mm-hmm.
arms or my legs, then bloody hell, you can, And
Yeah,
I go,
what an
you're right. You
inspiration,
know what?
right?
You're right. I'm sorry. I woke up on a bad side of the bed today and I was
Right.
cranky.
What are we complaining
What
about?
are we
Right.
complaining about? Right? I know it's all relative.
Right. Reminding like the joy of like just a strawberry, right? The joy of like going on a walk and the joy of just laughter with friends. It's like the simple things. That's what life is about. The enjoyment of the simple things.
The simple things. Ah,
Yeah.
yes. It's so true.
Yeah, right? A fruit salad. Oh my. Really like how amazing are like the fruits and vegetables of the planet. The flavors, the colors, the fact that they're medicine, they give your body everything that your body really needs to regenerate optimally, to help you be alkaline. It's like, wow, there's miracles all around. There's miracles in your refrigerator. you
That's the
know,
Blythe that
we
I'm
just
talking about. Well, let's talk more about this amazing. Well, it's not just the book that you've created, but it's also like a movement as well. Like this is a real
we're
passion for
trying.
you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we need all of you listeners really to make it a movement. It's a movement with the people. It's like we're just starting to get the word out
yeah,
about this, and we hope that people receive the information and share it to really like up level youth, really teach them that they are amazing. We all are amazing. We all have a genius within us.
and there's something that I really would love to dive in with you, is this um tapping into the power of that unconditional self-love. And
Mm,
this goes for adults and parents as well, right?
yes,
Because
yes.
that self-love, it needs to be something that your children can see and emulate, and and they can bring that into their own lives. But
Be a model,
talk
right? As a
about the
parent, be a
importance of
model
that.
of this.
Yeah, talk
There's
about the
so many.
importance.
There's Yeah. There's so many important factors of it. There's physical, mental, and spiritual factors of this. But what, like, the first thing I'll mention is the immunity that it gives you towards criticism and self doubt when you can just totally and completely love yourself and accept yourself now, not because of any achievement or success, but just to completely love and accept yourself now. That's immunity towards criticism or self doubt. And when we're really in a position of self love and self acceptance, we actually create biochemistry in our body that regenerates our body optimally. So when we're in self love, in peace and relaxation, our body is in rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system, and our cells are regenerating optimally. We're actually creating more health in our body. When we're in self doubt, self criticism, self harm, and any other level of stress, we're in a fight or flight biochemistry, and it's not time to regenerate the cells optimally. It's time to fight. And so when we're actually in that level of stress, we're starting the trajectory towards degenerative disease because we're disallowing ourselves to regenerate optimally. So it's really important from a physical standpoint to create the habits and the neural pathways for unconditional self-love, for physical as well as mental and spiritual health. But so how do we do that? Like, how do you get to unconditional self-love? So there's a lot of different ways to practice that. You can, I mean, there's so many different ways. So it's meditation. It's looking at yourself in the mirror, when you're by yourself and totally free and really looking at yourself in the eyes and saying, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And just really looking at yourself in the eyes and allowing it and saying it over in a way that you really feel it, that you allow it to be a physical feeling for you. It's a really beautiful practice. And then you can also do that in your exercise with saying, I am. And you just allow what comes up to come up, because you will start to really feel the divine spirit as you, which is really beautiful.
Oh, I love that.
Self-love also looks like, oh, good. It feels so good too. It's like when you're doing these things, you're building neural pathways in your brain for self-love so that your subconscious and unconscious mind already gets on board with like self-love, which means you will make better decisions about diet, exercise, the people that you're with, the reactions and responses that you make will all be more congruent with unconditional self-love as you start to build it. So that's why, like, a mirror exercise like that, do it every day. You could only do it for 1 minute, but even a 1 minute really connected in the eyes mirror exercise like that is going to be a really powerful way to build those neural pathways. And then you're also creating that regeneration biochemistry inside you when you're doing that, the restorative biochemistry. So that's really great. Yes. So another way self-love looks is, taking care of yourself, making healthy choices with food. With kids, it looks like exercise, go play in real life with a friend, go bat a ball, go shoot some hoops, go, pass a soccer ball around. It looks like not doing sketchy drugs, right? It's like when you're practicing self-love, you're not trying sketchy drugs. You love yourself. I love myself too much. I'm not into doing anything sketchy. No, thank you. Doing anything that causes real harm. No, thank you. Unconditional self-love, particularly for teenagers, looks like checking in with themselves and having the permission to really look in and say, how do I really feel about this? If it's something that a friend wants to do, but you really don't, unconditional self-love is like, that doesn't really work for me, go ahead. But I'm going to choose not to. And having the self-love to choose not to, if it's something that you don't want to engage with, or having the self-love to say, you know what, I really do want to take a dance class or an art class. And even though none of my friends want to take it, or even though my brother's really making fun of me about something, I'm going to do it anyway. So those are like, a couple of examples of how to really use unconditional self-love as a practice day to day.
Because what happens is that, like you said, those neural pathways, I tend to think of those neural pathways and the reactions that we have and the immediate thoughts or perceptions that we have as like a channel, like there's a dry earth patch, and then there's like a channel that's been dug, and that channel that's been dug, so if it rains, the water is going to come right through that channel, right? It's going to not just
Yeah.
spread out, it's going to go right through that channel. And so we've dug in these neural pathways of
Yeah.
whatever those thoughts are. I'm a loser, I'm ugly, nobody loves me, I'm a weirdo, all those different things. And so when something comes up, those pathways sometimes are dug so deep that it's easy to go to that. It's easy to go there. It's easy to
Mm-hmm.
go to the
Mm-hmm.
fatalist thing of like, oh, the
Mm-hmm.
world is, it's horrible. But
Yeah.
when you do that
That's what you've required your path of least resistance as. Yeah.
exactly. But when you look, when you go and you look in the mirror, and a lot of times people can't do it. They have a hard time looking into their own eyes. But it's a great
Mm-hmm.
exercise that
That's why it's a great exercise, right?
I am, and then whatever you want to put after that. But those words are
Mm-hmm.
very powerful. We also forget that we're creators. And so there's a reason why they call it spelling. When you say, I am this, whatever it is, I am funny, I am brilliant, I am creative, I am magical, that has an energy, and it puts it out into the universe. And the universe is like, oh, she's magical, she's great, she's wonderful, let's give her some more of that.
That's
Whereas if
right.
you're looking in the mirror, or you're saying to yourself in the car driving or wherever, I am ugly, I am not loving, I'm not worth loving, I'm not worthy, I'm stupid, those things, again, that's an energy. It's very powerful how we think it.
Yes.
And boy, oh boy, when we speak it out into the universe, that is extremely powerful. And that's what I think we should be teaching our kids. Yes,
Yes. That
math and English is all great, but how about how about
I don't use algebra or calculus. I don't know about you. I don't use any of that, right?
I have never used algebra.
No, me neither.
And
Never. No, but you're
yeah,
absolutely right. I mean, as a metaphysician, we are always creating what we're conscious of being. And that is the piece that every human being needs to know. We are always creating what we're conscious of being. So, in the example you gave, yeah, it's like if anyone is having these thoughts, well, not only are they wiring those thoughts in their mind and creating all the least resistance paths towards those thoughts, but they're also then creating their environment to match that. When we have these thoughts, we're always creating an environment to match that. So we just switch it up. We just switch it up and start to have the thoughts that are in alignment with what we want to create in our environment.
mic drop. Boom.
Boom.
Blythe, let's talk about could you discuss quickly the five keys from the book, which
Sure.
is super exciting, and people, if because they're going to be like, I can feel the general zeitgeist of the audience going, where can I get this book? We're going to tell you in just a second, but talk about some of the pillars or the keys of the book.
Yeah, thank you. Sure. So the first one is unconditional self-love that we spoke about. The second one is imagineering your inner technology, which is what we just spoke a little bit about, of being aware of where your consciousness is and that you're always creating what you're conscious of being, which is super huge. The third one is unconditional forgiveness. You know, we see our teenagers be a little dreary sometimes. Would be this idea of unconditional forgiveness dissolves defensiveness in teenagers that we so often, is so common in teenagers. It's such a powerful concept, unconditional forgiveness. The fourth one is staying influenced by the people who inspire you, and really teaching kids how to use social media to benefit them, and anything that's not benefiting them, permission to bounce off, permission to unfollow, and then really teaching them how to really be influenced in terms of, like, you can watch someone's marketing and you can do what they're doing and you can start a business the way they do it. Like, all you have to do is watch what they're doing, and if you want to do it, It's all right in front of you. You can do it, kind of like teaching them how to leverage what's already there for them, what they can plainly see is working, if it's resonating and if that's something that they want to do. And then the fifth one is about micro investing, how to invest a little to gain a lot, which I love so much because it teaches kids how to love and honor their future self. It teaches them how to, instead of buying chips and soda with that $5, put that $5 in their Acorn account or the other various micro investing tools that I talk about in that chapter, and like build your, future wealthy self. And it's, and then that also is like, when they have money to spend and they could spend it on XYZ that perhaps isn't serving them, if you follow, maybe they get more excited about putting that $30 or whatever into their Acorn account or their other investment, because they really see how that is serving, themselves 10 years in the future or whenever they want to take it out. So it's exciting. It's healthy too. I think it's really healthy to have kids think about their future selves. I think in terms of like the level of self-harm that we're seeing with teenagers and the level of depression, which is like, so like right now, it's like, no, you can do something right now that feels really good, and look at building the health and the wealth of your future self.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so exciting. And it is important. Like you said, everything that you talk about in the book, Dear Teenager, is things that we as a society need to be like bringing up our kids with, but also just reminding ourselves as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about this book. Is not just for teenagers, it's for it's for parents as well, and it's for folks who don't even don't have children. It's
totally. The wisdom is really for people that want to learn how to create a life they love. Yeah.
Okay.
There's many places in the book where I'm like, share this with your parents.
Hint, hint. So Blythe, how can people get a hold of Dear Teenager? You are amazing. 5 keys to creating a life you love.
Yes, thank you so much for asking. Please go to blythenaturalliving.com/book. And Blythe is spelled BLYTHE, naturalliving.com/book. There you will see our Indiegogo campaign. You can watch a video about it, learn more. There's a quick 2 or 3 minute video, and then there's also a 30-minute video that goes more into the teaching points of the book and more into all the different perks you can get, because there's a lot of other wellness perks that are in there as well besides just the book and the workbook.
And I'll make sure that I have the website. I'll make sure that the link is in the show notes. So if folks, if you're listening and you're like, what was it? Don't worry, just click on the show notes and you can check it out and get more information. Go to the website too and get more information on my beautiful guest, Dr. Blythe Mandmets, who it's so good to be with you again. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy that you're doing this. I really I can see that it's something that you're extremely passionate about. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Christine. And thank you to the audience. The movement doesn't happen without all of you. So thank you to all of you. Please share. We appreciate
Beautiful words.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks again, wonderful listeners. Also, if you're into your audio podcast, you can always subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, you name it, all the major platforms. You can subscribe to the show. And if you'd like to see my guests, you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the podcast there at YouTube. Those links will be in the show notes as well. And as I always say, remember to think outside that damn box. And let's help our teens, all right? All right.
Amen.
That's all. And until next time, take care.